Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, coming to you live from PJ Whelihan's in Wynwood in a good afternoon / evening. My name is Sean Brace, representing Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. on the iHeartRadio app. Of course, all of our social platforms as well. Give us a follow at Fox PHL Gambler, joined by my right-hand man all the way in the far right, John Jansen, co-host Monday through Tuesdays. Sometimes Wednesdays.
Or Friday.
Or Fridays.
Whatever.
When Villanova plays, too.
Whenever I feel like it. Yeah.
And a man who was in the arena down on Super Bowl Sunday, Kyle Fisher joining us. And we'll get into where you can find Kyle and all that great stuff on socials as well. But we got a lot to discuss. Of course, we're having some fun. What a day. Once again, come on, PJs, give it up for our Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles. Let's start there. We are on top of the mountain. We've heard all that noise from your Cowboy friends, those Commander pretenders, those 49er you-know-whats from last year, all of those teams that have decided to run their mouth about us, no matter what the case was, whether it was Jalen Hurts playing an okay game or somebody losing a game, whatever it may be. That didn't happen too often, but still. You know darn well the haters are sick, as they say, that Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, and our Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. It was a celebration. It was a long celebration. My goodness, it started early, crack of dawn. I don't know.
They were taking their time.
I don't know if anybody was down there this morning and made it up here. I'll tell you what, I thought long and hard about doing both, but I knew we had to come here. So I said, you know what? I'll be crunching it for time. You think? Yeah, I thought it would be wrapped up by about 2 o'clock. No, they didn't even get to the speeches till 3 o'clock. So I want to start with you, though, Kyle, man. Take us on the inside. You were down at the Super Bowl beating, of course, 40 to 22 final score. Should know that.
40 to 6 was the score.
Yeah,
essentially.
That final score should not be recorded in history because that's not how the game felt at all.
It was 34-0.
At one point,
Correct. And that's where I essentially stop it, right? Mentally. I'm like, whatever. But take us on the inside. When did you know that the celebration was going to go on for a long time down there on Bourbon Street during Super Bowl 59?
It was definitely 34-0. I mean, there was around halftime, they're getting ready to set up the concert, and I'm looking at all the people I'm with, all the Eagles fans who are down there, and we're not announcing the game over at that point, but you start to feel like, man, I don't feel as nervous as I did 2 years ago. I didn't feel as nervous as I did at halftime in the Foles year. It was a different vibe completely. The fan base was almost out of energy by the time the second half came around because they were like, we celebrated already.
Yeah.
The thing was almost over then. And then, of course, you're worried, can Mahomes come out and score one quick? They get the ball out of half. When that doesn't happen, you're midway through the third quarter thinking, do we pop the bottles now? Like, what do we do? This is
I popped the bottle after the Cooper DeJean pick six. That was the one for me. That was it.
That is the play that everybody continues to go back to, the turning point. As we brought some whistles here, we're blowing the whistle with iHeartRadio. A great idea in mind.
In theory.
Outside, even better. So good
Well,
outside.
You're testing that theory right now?
Yeah, the indoor whistle
It was
blowing,
a theory.
It's, and I think it will end tonight. I think tonight is the final night of blowing the whistle indoors. John Jansen, the celebration rolling on. Of course, the buses were just leaving the art museum. I don't know where they were going. I think they might be coming to PJ's. I really do think they might be coming to PJ's in Wynwood. I kid. I don't know. Is it Atlantic City? Where do they keep the celebration going? But
That's a good question.
you were able to catch the speeches a little bit more in detail. What's one thing from the speech part of today's celebration that caught your attention?
Yeah, you didn't get anything like Kelsey's speech where it's going to be super memorable. But the one is A.J. Brown's, where he essentially goes, you could say whatever you want about me. The only thing you could say right now is that I'm a Super Bowl champion.
Super Bowl champion.
And that is, I think, a big highlight because there was a lot of things said about this team all year. Everything that you could say about a football team, you said it about the Eagles. This wasn't they were the best team in football right away. This was a team coming into the season. We weren't sure if the coach should have been fired or not. We weren't sure about the quarterback after what he did at the end of last year. We weren't sure about the defense that was bad last year. We weren't sure about anything. They lose a couple of games early. The coach is talking about, there are some at least rumors of maybe talking about firing this guy mid-season at the bye week. Do it now and get it over with. There was a lot of talk. And at the end of the day, all you can talk of them now is Super Bowl champions. That's the only thing now that they can be talked about as.
A lot of highlights from today. And I would like to start with a low light. if you don't mind.
Okay.
Oh no.
I don't know where this started because I saw somebody talking about it. They witnessed it in 2017. People throwing beers at the players on the buses.
Can we stop doing that?
Howie Roseman got smoked in the head while I was with the beer. He's bleeding.
Yeah.
He literally bled
The
for our
beer
team.
ring, like
Yeah.
from the top of the gate, just smashed him in the head.
While I was watching this morning, I saw 2 women get hit. Now, I think one was a soft brown, and I think the other one was a beer. Like, I just, like, come on,
Which
man.
one would you have rather gotten hit by?
The soft
Oh,
pretzel.
okay.
I just would say, like, all right, I know they might be looking at you and they might be asking, but at the end of the day, a lot like blowing the whistles.
Well, no, because everybody,
it's great. in
everybody
theory.
wants to get the viral because there's like one time in human history where somebody threw a beer can at a parade,
And he
somebody
caught it.
caught it and
Yeah.
went, "That's the coolest thing I've ever seen." And so now we're like, we got to keep doing it, and they're just pelting people with beer cans. At least it's not batteries, right? So we can say that.
That's true.
Nobody can say that about us now. It's not snowballs, so at least it's just beer cans.
Look, these guys might be pros, but they haven't had the same kind of practice that Stone Cold Steve Austin had
No.
catching those beer
No,
cans. You
but he
gotta
also
make
called for it. You know, he was
Exactly.
like, "Give me the beers."
You got to
These
make eye
guys are just-
contact. Make
Grant,
sure that guy's
You're
ready.
on the top of the parade. Head's on a swivel. You're
Grant Calcaterra did do the Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, yeah.
I did see that.
Grant C
I
was
saw
having
AJ
some fun.
catch one up high, one-handed.
Yes.
But
yes.
like you said, highlights are great, but the lowlights can be worse. Maybe we retire.
Yeah,
that
we need
for
to
the
have like what is the Pope like plexiglass like above? You
That's
gotta
coming.
get yeah.
That's
gotta happen.
definitely coming. All right, as the celebrations roll on, I see that they're live down at Xfinity Live. Pretty cool stuff there. We are a part of iHeartRadio here in Philadelphia, and one of the stations from our club, WDAS, and we got the legend Frankie over here next to us. Come on, she's recording live. She's live on the air right now as we speak. Of course, we've been all over the map with our team. Power 99 was down there. Q102 was broadcasting live. So really big day for iHeartRadio, big day for Philadelphia. And of course, it all comes back to the fans, man. Like, you watch these celebrations year after year, and no disrespect to those other teams, those other cities, but nobody does it like Philly. Nobody does. And it was real easy to see it with the freaks that were literally camped out from 3 o'clock yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, there were people lined up that were sleeping outside the art museum. You don't see that anywhere
That's
else.
dedication. Yeah, nothing more you can say. That is dedication to the game.
Yeah, dedication, and this one felt a lot different. I don't know why this one. The first one was euphoric. Like, there was something obviously special about it. It's the first one, but yeah, this one felt different. There was much more of like a soaking it in and kind of just letting it happen from all the players and the fans. It was really, this one was kind of blew my mind how the entire scene was, and how the players were kind of taking all of it, and the fans, being so dedicated, going out early. This one was special.
All right, it is a Valentine's Day. If anybody is going out for dinner tonight and you didn't cancel those Valentine's Day reservations, love to hear from you.
How many cancellations for dinner reservations?
I see PJ's rolled out the balloons. They were like, you know what? We're just going to do it both. This is the perfect spot, right?
Oh, great.
You're able to catch the parade celebrations. You check the box because you cannot skip Valentine's Day. Don't do it. Don't do it. Your significant other will put that in the back of their mind.
I guess it should count all the people here that are out. I mean, that's Valentine's Day dinner.
That's right.
Here. That's
Come get some wings, man.
Yeah, eat some wings and watch the Eagles parade.
Doesn't
What could
matter.
be-
The
what's
lights don't
more
have to be
romantic
dimmed.
than that?
Yeah, lights don't have to be dimmed. The energy's here.
All right. As we are surrounded by TVs, we're live on all of our socials. Give us a follow at Fox PHL Gambler, at Fox PHL Gambler, Sean Brace, Kyle Fisher, John Jansen. All right, some highlights from today. There's nothing better than Jalen Hurts. There is nothing better than Jalen Hurts. He is the coolest dude I've seen wear a Philadelphia. Like, he's Dr. J-esque. How cool he is. How smooth
He was going
is.
with the Michael Jordan look, though.
Look,
Oh, yeah.
he is sponsored by Jordan.
Yeah, that helps.
Which, okay, look, at the end of the day, there are a lot of great athletes that are Jumpman, but is there anybody bigger right now representing Jumpman than Jalen Hurts, who just won the Super Bowl MVP, had an unbelievable season, and looks that cool with a cigar, and the love Hurts? And ABC, Fox, all the broadcasts today were sponsored by Jumpman, Love Hurts.
Yep.
I mean, dude, he's about
The city love Hurts right now.
it's as big as it gets right now for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it's as big as it gets, and I mean, this is as big of an athlete maybe as we've seen, because this is the top of the mountain. Even when they won the Super Bowl last time, Carson Wentz was considered the face, but it was a different guy that won it. There was a different face that won it. This is about as big as it gets. Has there been an athlete like bigger? Joel Embiid definitely, but this is different. You're a Super Bowl champion.
Correct.
You have, like you just said, you have the swagger. You also have this branding behind you and everything, and he does it so with the stoicism that's like very great, and he seems like a great person as well. He's a complete package of a person and quarterback and franchise leader. And the Eagles finally, I think, for the first time in franchise history, that's something that maybe they haven't had, and they haven't.
I've never posted more pictures of a grown man in my life than Jalen Hurts in the last 3 days. Look at that picture right there.
Yeah, you talk about Ari,
Give me a follow
about
that
swagger,
shot.
whatever it is. This guy
That's a
has it
great
in-
picture. That's an amazing
He has
picture
it in
of Hurts.
droves, man. That video of him walking after he got right near the art museum, walking trophy in one hand, cigar in the other, Kangol hat on.
Yeah.
The swaggiest guy in all of Philadelphia, possibly America today.
That's-
Jalen Hurts
he's
just repping all day.
He's on top of the mountain, like I said, with the Jumpman brand.
I need to start creating a wall of Jalen Hurts quotes now. the live, laugh, love.
Oh, so you're coming around is what
We
you're
got
telling
to
me.
now.
I have always been on Team Jalen from the standpoint of that, where it comes from what he comes out of his
The
mouth.
Sabanisms.
Yes, and I've been criticized because is he really giving you much? He's more of a general, keep it low key type of guy. But at the end, I love it, man. He fires me up, and he is a winner. He has been a winner everywhere he's been. And think about everything he's been through. Now, you and I were talking about this 2 weeks ago, and for maybe people here that don't know this, he's going to go through it again with Kellen Moore moving on, offensive coordinator. So what's the stat, Kyle? It's going back to high school?
Yeah, every year since his senior year of high school, he's had a different offensive play caller. This year, it'll be 14 play callers in 11 years.
That's ridiculous.
And you want to talk I couldn't believe when I heard people try and call him a system quarterback because they decided to run the ball. The system is Jalen
The
Hurts.
system is Jalen Hurts.
That's
Yes.
the system. He is the system. He doesn't fit in somewhere. He develops what your offense becomes because the guy just goes out and wins. And the fact that he can do both pass and run so effectively, and you can build different types of – the offense 2 years ago that got to the Super Bowl is a very different offense than this year, and he was the catalyst for both. Yeah, you can say that Saquon, and even he himself in the mic'd up, you can hear him say, Saquon, this is because of you. But Jalen is the catalyst for all of that. He's the constant. And like you said, the guy just wins. There's something about that, whether you want to admit it or not. There's something about a winning mentality. He's got that Kobe, he's never satisfied. And that keeps you grounded. It keeps you driven. That guy is never satisfied. Even his own teammates were making jokes. There's 3 minutes left in the game. They're like, can you crack a smile now?
And he said, no, the one.
He needed zeros.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's great, and it makes you feel good about the position that we're in as a franchise moving forward. And yeah, he's not done. He is not done. And I'll tell you straight up, I'll take him over Lamar. I'll take him over Josh Allen. I'll take him over every quarterback not named Patrick Mahomes heading into next year. Right here this week, next week, the months leading up, the draft, into the offseason, I will take Jalen Hurts, and I will put my money where my mouth is because Jalen Hurts will be back in a Super Bowl before Lamar or Josh Allen.
Yeah, I don't think this is the place for me to debate that right now, so I'll wait.
Not
on that
this
one.
week,
Not
sir.
this week. Not this week. I get it. But no, one of the interesting things too is quarterbacks sometimes don't get time to develop. Especially some guys with flaws, and Jalen Hurts had flaws coming in. There was no doubt that if he had to be perfect in his first couple NFL seasons, he would not have been able or allowed to be that because he wasn't. But you have such a great organization that allows him to learn from his mistakes, learn from his flaws, develop, continue to learn, and he has the work ethic that he does. This, to me, is going to remind me of what Russell Wilson was. Russell Wilson wasn't the greatest quarterback when they won Super Bowls. I think Jalen's much more developed than Russell Wilson was then. But he got better after that because once you start seeing success, once you figure out what you're comfortable doing, once you figure out the team figures out what you're comfortable doing, then it's all gravy from there. Then you just keep going to those strengths, and you're able to continue to build off of that. This is this is just getting started. I truly believe that this is going to get better, and Jalen Hurts is going to get better. Yes, there will still be some of the things he does that you kind of why are you still doing that? Those are things you shouldn't be doing. But you can play into your strengths so much that you become, I think he's going to become one of the elite quarterbacks, if he isn't already.
Yes, I would say he is. He has to be in that conversation now, due simply to the success, regardless of the team built around him. Don't care. This guy will put the team on his back. He's a winner. Now, one thing you did bring up, and I just push back on this because name the perfect quarterback. Look at what Mahomes did. He threw across his body, across the field in a Super Bowl, and it got picked off for a pick six. Think about if Jalen Hurts did that in a Super Bowl, what would be said? Now, I get it. He gets a little leadway because we're talking about Mahomes here. But still, there is no perfect quarterback out there. Quarterbacks make mistakes, especially when they're aggressive, and they tend to do some dumb things from time to time because they got unbelievable athletic ability at that position. All I know is dude is a winner, and I feel nothing holding me back from saying that this team will be competing for a Super Bowl next year, and then who knows what we're talking about beyond. Again, 2017 wasn't that long ago. Just went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago and won it again in 2024, 2025. So I don't think I'm saying anything.
No, and I guess the best way to put it for me is bad environments create bad habits, and Jalen Hurts was allowed to create good habits off of good things happening around him. But that's how you should develop a quarterback. That should be like Tom Brady needed that to happen too. Like, it's not just Russell Wilson. Tom Brady wasn't great when in his first couple of Super Bowl wins. He turned into a great quarterback because he was allowed to become a great quarterback. So I mean, it's more of just it's a credit to Howie, but it's a credit to Jalen Hurts of being given that environment, getting better, and now like the point is the rest is gravy here. Like Hurts has now figured it out. Like this is a guy that's figured out everything you can figure out in the NFL, and he's only going to learn more, and he's only going to learn better from it. It's all gravy from here.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Hurts is a made man.
All right, Kyle Fisher hanging out with us, and we got you till when? What, 5, 4, 4:30, 4:45?
Between 4:45 probably works.
All right, we'll go another 5 minutes. We'll take time out as they are back. Of course, we're missing what exactly took place. They left the art museum and then cruised back to the stadium, so that's where they're headed.
Is that where they're going?
I believe so.
Partying at the Link?
They took 76 back to the stadiums. Now, you were producing a show earlier this morning, John Jansen, that took
Yes.
place at Xfinity Live, and they had some issues because Xfinity Live right there is where they're broadcasting from.
Yeah, so apparently they fixed the issues, but yes, they had to evacuate Xfinity Live at like 9:30 this morning.
Thanks for hanging out, ladies. We appreciate it.
That causes some problems, I would say.
Yes, I would imagine that Xfinity Live on Parade Day probably needs some bathrooms working.
I think so.
But anyways, all right. So we're all friends around the Delaware Valley.
You know, I think the bathrooms work here, though. So
Absolutely. PJs, nothing better than PJs. I love PJs. We have a PJs.
PJs
over.
wings.
I'm in Conshohocken.
good.
They got a brand new Conshohocken PJs. TVs, but this is the theme for all PJs. It's like this is the destination for the sports fan. Look at all these TVs. They do great wings, plenty of options.
Amazing
to choose
wings.
from.
I love their wings.
Are you a naked guy or are you a regular guy when it comes to wings?
No, I'm a regular. Just
Are
give
you
me
a
the- give me the
naked
classic.
guy or a regular guy?
Regular.
Yeah.
See, I'm naked.
Really?
Yeah, man. I don't want that breaded
You like
stuff.
you like the tarp off of the wings?
Yes, thumbs up. That's it. Exactly that. All right. Some other highlights from today. I got to laugh about it. Like, come on, man. We all have to have a sense of humor. Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean getting mixed up for looking
Yes.
alike.
Oh, I saw that.
Exciting whites, but which one?
Yes. Like, they were yelling. They were chanting.
I mean, really, I guess they
Cooper.
might be hard to tell apart, especially if you're
Well,
looking
yeah.
far away.
I mean, if they're wearing
yeah, true.
hats and stuff, yes. So that took place today. I got a kick out of that. There's some really good stuff on social media, of course, after today. One of the cool things, of course, Chris Long, when he won the Super Bowl championship in 2017, wore the fur coat with the AI jersey. Beautiful. Josh Sweat rocked the fur coat today.
Bring him back.
The same
Bring
one.
him back.
The same one.
The same exact coat.
The
Bring him back.
hand-me-down coat.
Kyle, take me there. Do you know, what are we talking about with some of the big-time free agents that could possibly be leaving the nest? And it's simply due to the fact that these guys had an unbelievable season. And that's what happens in team sports. You win a championship, the solo accolades come your way, and oh, by the way, so does the contract.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Baughn's going to be the one that everybody points to. I think, you finally have some solid depth at linebacker. I feel like it's the storyline I've heard my entire life, right? The organization needs to invest in linebackers. Well, they did so this offseason. They bring in Baughan, move him to a position of strength, and then he goes out and has an incredible year. Well, now it's time for him to go get paid. Can't blame the guy. You hope it's here as a fan, but if he ends up somewhere else for big money, that wouldn't surprise anybody, I don't think. He's the guy I'm going to be watching the closest, hoping that the organization can find a way to bring him back.
John Jansen, you said that you tweeted a little earlier today, wasn't it, about Josh Sweat or Milton
Josh
Williams?
Sweat, yeah, guy rules. Bring him back. And obviously, he became a great edge rusher. He had that 1 year last year, and I think a lot of players definitely took a step back last year. But he stepped up, and he stepped up in a big way to the point where he, to me, was like maybe one of the most important players in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, obviously, one of them won the MVP. Some other players you can point out, like Jalen Carter, Milton Williams. But the most important guy that I think set the tone over and over again was Josh Sweat. And I think if you have an edge rusher like that, I think you try any way to keep him. Now, the money's going to get a big, very, very big for him after that Super Bowl. But that's a position Howie has paid premium for, and I think will continue to because they ended up missing on one guy in Bryce Huff. So they're going to have to make up for that in some way. And I think one way to do it is just keeping Sweat.
Yeah, Bradbury, I believe, will be coming off the books, too.
How about Unc Bradbury saving Quinyon Mitchell from maybe saying something he shouldn't have said or shouldn't be saying? Unc Bradbury already coming up big.
You know,
The Bradbury story is awesome. That guy, he was never going to play this year and didn't really have a spot because all these players are doing well. But give credit to him. He stuck it through. And also, it seemed like he was a great mentor to these guys. And then even at the parade, being intervening and becoming Unc Bradbury right in front of us.
Quinyon looked like the guy who was feeling it the fastest. If you were watching the coverage live, he looked like the guy who he might need a buddy at all times the rest of the day.
now I was watching.
I think. Do you think Bradbury was tagged for Quinyon watch? Hey, Quinyon, stay on Quinyon.
Yeah, the Rooks. They need somebody to be looking out for him. I did see Bo Allen. He was doing a podcast last week with Chris Long, and I believe he was a part of that show. Whatever. And he was talking about how in 2017 he didn't drink for 2 years leading up to that.
Oh,
yeah, he did not have a drink, and he's like, dude, I had one Miller Lite and I had 2 sips and I was drunk. So he said that was a tough environment to succeed in when they won the Super Bowl. But bottom line is, look, it was such a long day. I didn't even have a beverage, and I think I was buzzing on my couch. It was just ridiculous. It started so early. The beers were flowing. Everybody. We got some great people that are part of our Gambler Gang staff that were running around all downtown down there.
God bless. Warriors out there.
6 a.m., Coors Lights, Miller Lights in hands. Wow.
My son's still down there. I hope no Miller Lights in hands, young man. That's what I got to say. But he's still down there himself.
All right, let's keep it moving here. And now I want to get over to the offensive side. Anything to worry about, concern for next year? Again, we're going into draft, going into free agency. As far as losing anybody, additions, offensive line staying together. That's the one thing about Howie Roseman, which we will talk about him a little bit later. We're here till 7 o'clock. I would say is that he has gotten out in front of a lot of these contracts that are going to turn into big money paydays. And he's gotten in front of them early enough to the point that he's able to stay under the number and still make moves if Saquon Barkley gets available. He did exactly that, went out and got him. Eagles weren't the only team offering good money for Saquon Barkley. I'm sure we all agree on that. So he deserves a ton of credit for making that happen. But is there a player that we need to be looking out for, concerned that could be potentially leaving the nest and cashing in after a big Super Bowl 59 victory?
Yeah, I think
other than Becton, no.
Yeah, Becton's the guy. I mean, what a story for that guy too, to be such a highly regarded offensive lineman with the Jets. The Jets, I don't have a lot of nice things to say about that organization, so I'll keep them to myself. But to see that guy come out and then get to an organization that really embraces the offensive line, having a guy like Stoutland teach him not only how to get healthy but to work within that system, it's going to be a loss. I would assume he'll get a huge payday from somebody. That would be the only concern, maybe looking to add some depth on the offensive line in the draft. But
but the lesson is that Becton was brought in on a 1-year deal, was kind of damaged goods, and became a great, incredible starting right guard.
Oh, yeah.
So if they could do it with Becton, they could probably do it anywhere with anyone. I will never have an issue with retooling the offensive line. They have the anchors there. They are anchored with 2 great tackles. They are anchored with a really good center again and a good left guard. I hate to say you can plug in anyone. They're going to have to find somebody. They're going to have to put in some work to maybe find a diamond in the rough somewhere. But also there's probably some guys in roster, in-house, that could potentially fill that spot. So it's just I have full faith that they'll be able to figure that part out.
And Jeff Stoutland, we trust.
I trust him more than anybody.
For sure. And that depth paid off, right? I mean, it's not a major injury, but having injury in the middle of the offensive line late in the season, You start rotating between guys. You have Landon Dickerson and Juergens switching in and out at center and guard. That only adds to the story that is Jeff Stoutland. They really do develop guys well, have the ability to play multiple positions on that line, which isn't as easy as it sounds. Like you said, John, I think that they could almost plug anybody in there. But Becton,
Yeah,
was
that's something like you hate to
story.
say about the offensive line, which is really important, but it just feels like you can't.
Yeah, not saying
and
that
what they've
everybody
done.
is Becton, because the guy is an incredible talent when he's healthy.
Yep.
Showed a lot this year, but it's clear that they have something going on with this system that can help them plug in almost anyone.
All right, Kyle Fisher hanging out with us, and Kyle, you were down at the Super
sir.
Bowl.
Same fit I had on Sunday. It probably smells over here, so I'm sorry.
Not in a working manner, but you can find Kyle's work, great work, over at the Philly Sports Network. That's Philadelphia SN. You can also read them in the Metro, and I've been picking up a few of the Metros because they've had the special pages on the front.
Oh yeah,
this whole past week. So the coffee shop I go to has it. I got 3 of them hanging up right now in the Gambler studio. So I've had this joke since the Super Bowl played on Sunday, and you were there in the building. The turning point in Super Bowl 59 for me was when Bradley Cooper announced the team from the city of brotherly love, your NFC champions, the EAGLES Eagles, with the young man in his arms. And that moment right there, I kid you not, I'm like, they are not. It was a home game, Kyle. It felt like a home game in my living room. You were there. What was it? 80-20? Was it 75-25? 50-50? Where they put blowing sound in the Superdome? What was it in your mind? 85-15? Is that a good one?
looking around the stadium, not listening, you'd say it was like 60-40 in favor of the Eagles. If you close your eyes and listened, it was like 80-20.
That's insane.
It was insane how much louder they were. Whether it's, I know that the Super Bowl's turned into very corporate events, whether there was just a lot of people who were sporting Chiefs gear but weren't truly Chiefs fans. I don't know that, right? I didn't talk to everybody, but it was a sea of green. And I think that the big tell-all was when the game was over, people had already started pouring out. Well, the building was still like 70% full during the trophy.
It was all Eagles?
It's all Eagles. It's just a sea of green by the end. So, it may have looked like on camera that it was a better balance, but listening and then watching that trophy ceremony, it was clear this was a heavy pro Eagles crowd.
As they are replaying, I want to say that right there is 52. Is that Dan Patrick? That is Dan Patrick. Wow. Yeah, that's Dan Patrick with the great Nick Foles, of course.
Yeah, it turns out that Super Bowl was a long time ago. That feels like a different lifetime ago.
Wasn't all that long.
It was a long time ago.
7 years ago. It wasn't, but yeah, I'm with you. Everything seems a little bit more.
I think I was 22.
Every day, more and more.
I'm 30 years old, Bryce.
We're live for PJ Whelihan out here in Wynwood. Great spot. Get on out here. Post-parade celebration rolling on. We got the great Frankie from DAS hanging out. We're here till 7 o'clock. As I said, Kyle Fisher, Sean Brace, and John Jansen. We'll talk a little bit more about Howie Roseman. We will get into what Jeffrey Lurie has gotten right and why we should all start to believe a little bit more in this franchise continuing to do this thing that they did this year. This isn't a one-hit wonder, and I don't think a lot of people are thinking that after what took place 2 years ago, and now Jalen Hurts being the man in charge and really just taking the city by storm. But I want to talk a little bit more about today's celebrations, some of the highlights from the speeches that some of us might have missed. And, of course, a lot of people are starting to come in here. People did get here, so I don't know if they were down there already. I know it's a tough watch, though, if you are in attendance. Unless you got a Jumbotron in front of you.
That's a long day and a lot of people around.
Correct. That is a long, long day. I was down there at the Art Museum area in 17, and I didn't see much. And then I remember going to my buddy's house, which was right across the street from Bishop's Collar. It's a bar down there, a great bar. And that's when I caught Kelsey's speech. And literally, that's all I watched. And I was like, all right, I'm going back out. Got the juices going. So we'll revisit that a little bit, too, as well. Kyle, I know you got to slide out of here, though, but I want to get you some final thoughts before you do, sir. Appreciate you stopping out. Again, in attendance, season all along, taking inventory on what they're doing right, some things that they ended up getting wrong. Of course, the teams that are in the conference/division, as we're looking at some highlights with the Commanders, as we roll in to the offseason and we're enjoying this and we start to possibly looking ahead to 2025, 24, 25.
Yep.
Or excuse me, 25, 26.
26,
Yeah, let me get that
yeah.
right. What is the one team that is concerning from the NFC side of things? Is it the Commanders? Is it a team like the 49ers getting it right? Somebody from the North, whether it's the Packers, Vikings, Lions, continue. Because I'll tell you what, I was thinking about this on my way in a little earlier today. If there was a player or team that I'm going to go against next year, it's Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. Losing both of those coordinators, I just think that they're going to take a tough hit, and Jared Goff might eventually turn into who Jared Goff we thought of who he was all along. I just think the coordinators, the loss there is going to be a huge deal for them. So I'm going to say Detroit takes a step back. Is there one team in your mind that you think elevates and could potentially be a rivalry for the Eagles next year?
Well, I think a young Washington team showed a lot this year. We'll see what the sophomore year looks like for the quarterback down there in Daniels, but they're an exciting team. They're young across the board. That's one thing that I think people forget. Like it does, even if Daniels has whatever sophomore slump you want to call it, the rest of that team is going to continue to develop. I don't think they lost coaches, at least not to the level that Detroit did. I think that they're going to be not neck and neck with them talent-wise, but they're going to be fighting with Philly early for that division lead. They're going to be an interesting team all year. I got to see Daniels a couple times up close and personal this year, and the guy just, whatever that it factor is that you look in, the way that the guy carries himself, similar to what you see with Jalen. He's a little more animated than Jalen, but he has kind of that, like, nothing bothers me it factor.
Yep.
I know it may not have looked like that on the field in the NFC Championship, but that's a different story. That's a team that I would definitely be watching closely. And Minnesota, depends on what they do at quarterback, but that was a team that I think surprised a lot of people this year. Head coach wins coach of the year, maybe deservedly so. He was one of probably three guys who could have earned that honor, Sirianni included. But that team is dangerous. They have weapons. They have a guy who knows how to run an offense running the helm there. I think you saw what they did with Sam Darnold. It almost doesn't matter who they're going to plug in there. Obviously, it matters on some level, the most important position on the field. But if they can take a guy and have him fit their system, they can be right back up there fighting for the North crown for sure.
I like the answer, as I believe we're getting a replay of 59 now. Gotta love that. I think that's the NFL Network rolling a replay for Super Bowl 59 as the Kansas City Chiefs just came from heaven. Did you see the fog with the gates opening up and Andy Reid, Big Red, strutting out there?
Loud boos for John Hamm's intro, by the way.
Really?
Loud boos in the stadium. I don't know what it sounded like on TV, but
Not
I'll
a lot
tell
of
you,
Mad Men fans.
not a lot of people drinking whiskey in the office at 12 in the
guess not.
afternoon.
Yes, nice pull by you. Now, I'm kid you not. I remember I'm sitting down. Of course, the lead up, it felt like forever to get to the kickoff. Like literally 6 hours of pregame coverage. Right here. This was it. This was the turning point of the game when Bradley Cooper introduced the Philadelphia Eagles to step out onto the field, and he gets the EAGLES chant. I mean, we were going nuts inside the house. Look at him. What a stud. And that kid's story is pretty significant, too, as well. If you don't know it, go ahead and read some articles that are out there. But and then they roll on, business as usual. And you just knew, man, it like the crowd, it was a home environment in a game that not necessarily you get that because of the corporate suits, the big wigs, how much money it costs. Eagles fans are sick, though, man. They don't care. They'll get there, wherever it is. Even next year at the Bay Area, which prices will probably be 3 times expensive.
I've heard some folks nationally saying, like, you got to give – if you didn't give credit to that fan base before, you have to. It's clear that was a pro-Eagles crowd in that building.
Kyle, great stuff, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Once again, we're going to be hanging out here till 7 o'clock, getting some people involved in as well. Kyle Fisher, we can find you on socials at Kyle Fisher45. Give him a follow. And, of course, you can read him at the Philadelphia Sports Network. Philadelphia SN does some stuff for CBS TV as well. Catch him on the sidelines. You can be back on the sidelines next year.
Oh, yeah.
Not to hit the fast forward button. You got an off season.
Yeah. Anytime you hear Jim Nance and Tony Romo, you can probably see me coming off the sideline supporting Tracy Wolfson. Love that job. Great gig. And obviously spring training right around the corner.
Yes.
Look out on Philly Sports Network. I have an infield preview coming soon, previewing that group probably early next week. We're going to
It's
get some
baseball
great
season.
coverage.
Pitchers and
Already a lot of
catchers.
Alec Bohm maturing stories coming out. That's fantastic.
I did see that.
I love those.
He's got a lady in
That's
his
great.
life. He's got a lady in his life.
Oh, how about that hard launch on Sunday, huh?
Yeah, what a launch that was.
I mean, is it really considered a hard launch when we already knew?
Yeah, everybody
It's
knew,
still
but
a hard launch. I mean,
now
when
it's
you're
official.
that out front, yeah, that's a hard launch.
Oh, God bless those young lovebirds. All right, Daily Ticket. We are live from PJ Whelihan's out here in Wynwood. Come on out. It's the post-parade celebration with the Gambler. More after this.
Thanks, dude. Good stuff, man. Thanks for having me on, man. Good stuff. Man.
35 minutes.
Appreciate you guys.
Nice
there
work.
we go. No, we're all across
Let's
the
go.
board. There we go. It's
35.
oh man. You don't
On the radio show, you do 20.
Do we have a server, waiter? I just need a water.
No radio show.
I like the jersey.
I gotta get a pic with you, Sean. Because I have to. Can we get one real quick with the three of us here?
Have I gone to a game by myself? I go to a lot of things by myself. I love it. I think it's fun.
I have to have as many pictures of me and Sean as I do of my wife and Sean.
Nice.
Thanks, man.
Go Birds.
My wife has a picture of her and Sean. She won a costume contest when he was DJing at Pitchers on Halloween.
Pictures.
And it's sitting in the
Pictures. Nice. That's funny. And Uncle Bradbury there to save him. So good.
I love that they zoomed in on Nick Silas to see if he can
Yeah, that wasn't happening. He was locked in. Chris Jones obviously cried. Can I get a water, please? Yes, please. Yeah, thank you. Nice.
It's good.
Yeah, we special like cruising. Here, what we got?
Nice. Right. I lost it. Yeah, it was heads and they lost. I don't care if I get messy hands. I'm getting wings. I love their wings. Yeah. Let's go. What are we talking next?
Celebration.
Let's go. Yeah, other than AJ, they didn't really give us much. Sirianni was surprisingly humble. Yeah, surprise. I thought he was going to tell everyone basically to just eat shit. Yeah, all right. Where's that at? Okay. Celebrate the season. God. I know we thought it was so crazy when Utley dropped the F-bomb during his speech, and then the Eagles were like, we're just going to do it on every single speech. It just That was such a big deal when Utley did it, and the Eagles are like, yeah, we don't give a shit. Let's do it.
What do you want? Powers. After this song, let's go live. Okay. And then if you see her, all we want is wings, so it'll be really easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's no rush.
I'll take 10 classic hot.
I'll do 10 naked hot. Blue
Yep.
cheese.
Yeah,
After
blue
the-
cheese for both. Yeah.
After this song,
Thank you, Powers. Michael Powers. Shout out Michael Powers. What's that?
you got he's off brats on yesterday.
Yeah.
Yelling at me.
Yeah, I know he's all stressed out.
Like, bro. Like, handle your baby. Like, you tell him fucking no. They threw this on him, and he's like, I'm like,
Yeah, right.
you know they don't feel fun.
Yeah. Wherever you tell me to be, I am there. Catch a grenade for you, Mike Powers. Catch a grenade for you, Mike Powers.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, I the last parade, I was exhausted, man. That was a lot. No, I just had no motivation. Like, there was a chance, because Legion ended early, like a chance for me to go and figure it out, but no way. No reason to. I'll let the young kids hang out with Tubbsy and Frog Street.
All right, let's rock and roll.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, bring it on in. We are back here live from PJ Whelihan's in Wynwood. Sean Brace, John Jansen. We are Fox Sports Rated to Gamble. We did have a bunch of people roll in here, including This table right here, all suited and booted. I believe this table was down at the parade. Were you guys and girls down there? All right.
Oh, yeah, there we
Give
go.
it up
Lot
one
of head
time.
nods.
Once again, our Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions, top of the mountain. We are a part of iHeartRadio here in Philadelphia. Download the app if you don't already. And, of course, find us on socials at Fox PHL Gambler, at Fox PHL a Gambler. All right, John. Again, it's been a hell of a season. One heck of a season. Every weekend long, we've been live from Xfinity Live, pregame shows, of course, postgame shows, you name it. Just think about it, man. It started all the way back in Brazil.
Yes, it did. And it started with a lot of questions that needed to be answered. And they answered all of those questions with like flying colors to the point where like I've kind of like pinpointed a little bit watching as we just watched the end of like Super Bowl 52 here at PJ's and then Super Bowl 59 comes on. And I think I kind of get the difference of why this one feels so much better. Because the first one's more like
Because we
relief.
dominated.
Yeah, that's the thing is like it is without a doubt the Eagles the past time like it could have been a fluke. You had a backup quarterback and you weren't the best maybe, but you beat the best kind of thing.
Correct.
This time was you not only beat the best, you were very clearly the best team. This is the best team in football. And there is zero doubt about that across the board that this is the best team in football. And that was his statement on Sunday. And it felt so great to finally say that and for an Eagles team to finally have that.
Yeah, we are live at PJ's, and nobody does the television scene like PJ's.
Yeah, this is great.
So they have, of course, the NFL Network on it. It's a replay. We are early into the first quarter here. Believe it or not, this was their only first down right here, right now. Their only first down of the first half. This right there. First play for them to convert all half. At the end of the first half, at halftime, Eagles had 13 first downs to the Kansas City Chiefs 1.
And all it was just a fake screen like pop pass. And that's all
Insane.
they had. It's just trying to trick the Eagles. But the Eagles are so disciplined through 60 minutes that you couldn't do it. And not only disciplined, but then Mahomes had to try and find some time to get the ball down the field and had zero time to do it. I mean, it was crazy. The Eagles' defense played out of their minds in this game.
Only rushing 4, no blitzes. There's so many things that we can go back on from that game, and just, it's crazy that it's
And
playing
every
there.
number is, again, it's pure domination.
Yeah.
Every number from week 5 on was the Eagles being the best team in football. And that, again, is something I don't think we've been able to say as Eagles fans and as an organization.
All right, some of the highlights from today. Are you up on the CJ, GJ, and Taylor Swift and Swifty nonsense?
Yeah.
He rocked a sweatshirt that said Swifties can
Yes.
LIX something.
Yeah,
a body
I think
part.
people get it.
Yeah, I think that. There you go.
Yeah, I think people get
But
it.
the LIX is nice because of Super Bowl.
It's a good
LIX.
touch.
I like that. Nice work there.
Yeah, the whole Swifties thing got out of control.
It's very weird.
The whole Kelsey Swifty thing
Very
was,
weird.
Was odd.
Yes.
So odd.
Jason Kelsey is on the Mount Rushmore of Philadelphia Eagles. No,
And Jason Kelsey's also allowed to feel human emotions.
Correct.
And to be conflicted about things. It's
just you
okay.
can't get
It's all
caught
right.
up in the social media world, man. It's
No,
just a different
because the social
world.
media world just doesn't realize that there's real life and that is actually his brother that he loves and has been with his entire life.
It was good to see him
it's
at
okay.
the parade today.
But also, it's okay to be happy that they kicked Travis Kelsey's ass in the Super Bowl.
Again, I can't get enough of Jalen Hurts and what he looks like right now as far as the leader of this team and just the top dog of the franchise, riding in the first bus with Jeffrey Lurie, holding up the Super Bowl trophy next to Nick Sirianni. I have 2 pictures that I will remember forever.
Oh, I have one for sure.
Yeah, it's that first bus where he's standing with Jeffrey Lurie, Nick Sirianni. He's got the trophy, confetti coming down. It's just amazing. And it wasn't an easy draft pick. It was not an easy draft pick. If you think going back on those days when Carson Wentz was here and for them to pull the trigger and get Jalen and then give him the keys to the franchise. And even though, look, he had his growing pains, he had his hiccups, he wasn't always the great Jalen Hurts quarterback that we saw in the NFC Championship game and, of course, Super Bowl Sunday. But they believed. They saw something in him, and it's more than what he does on the field. And that's why I feel so great about this organization moving forward, because it's a $20 word that gets used a lot, and I feel like a lot of people use it that don't have it. It's called culture. Like Jalen Hurts is a culture setter, and he's got that whole team believing. Look at the story of Saquon Barkley. When he signed, he immediately hopped a flight to California to train with Jalen Hurts. That's the type he's a running back. You don't have to go train with the quarterback. You're a running back. What are you going to do? Get the handoff? But he did, because that's what Jalen Hurts brings to the table as the leader of this organization.
Yeah, and that was actually one thing. And again, there were a lot of things questioned about the team, which I think also makes it a remarkable that there were so many questions, but they ended up being the best. And a lot of guys that have had these redemption stories. Jalen Hurts, I mean, there's a lot of things said when you lose a lot. And one of the things said about Hurts is he wasn't a leader. And I always, if there's one thing about Hurts that I've always liked, that I've always thought well about him, was his leadership. He is, since he's been in high school, that guy has been considered one of the best players in that locker room and one of the best leaders in a locker room, whether it's at Alabama, whether it's at Oklahoma, or whether it's now in Philadelphia. He's always been a leader. So for that to be questioned is crazy to me, and to see all of the things that have come to fruition with his leadership this season, that is one where a lot of people got that wrong. There were definitely people there that questioned it and got that wrong big time. If there's anything you could have never questioned about Hurts, it was always his leadership. And it's been on full display since he's gotten here. It was on full display since week 1 this season. And I think it was even on display at post-Super Bowl, whether that's press conferences or whether that's here at the parade. He's an unquestioned leader.
I can't wait to see the numbers from today's celebration, whether or not we broke the record from...
Do you think there... How many do you think? What are you setting the over/under? What was the last one? 1.8 or something?
Something like that. Yeah, I would assume. I'll take the over.
I think I'd go over that.
Yeah, we have to take the over. People were filing in early, and it seemed like it was more organized too.
We figured out how to do this.
Like SEPTA, what how they went about their business today. You had to buy the passes.
Isn't that crazy, Brace? We're learning how to win. we're learning how to celebrate wins now.
Slowly but surely, it's happening. I have a fact sheet in front of me from Visit Philadelphia, the 5-county region: Bucks, Chester, Delco, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties.
Shout out
to
Delco.
4.2 million people. So you would assume half of that got to be there, right? No, I don't know.
There's people flying in from all over the place.
I did have a lot of buddies that are a tad bit older, like myself these days, that made 2017.
Yeah, I had to tap out of this one.
Said, you know what? I'll leave it up to the young bucks. You guys get down there, hold down the fort.
I would tell you what, I'm living through them. I mean, there was a bit of FOMO when I'm seeing Tubbsy out in the wild with the boys. But that is something I don't know if I can handle.
Our own Mark Henry Jr. took an Uber at 3:30 this morning. He was front row. We have yet to hear from him. We talked to him. We touched base at like noon. That's the last time we heard
the last thing we heard was maybe a few hours ago was, "This is the best day of my life."
Is that what he said?
It's been MIA ever since.
3:30 in the morning, camped out. Just insane Eagles fans. You got to love it. All right. Again, talking all things celebration here at PJ Whelihan's. Sean Brace, John Jansen, live on The Gambler. Make sure you follow us on socials at FoxPHL Gambler. WDAS and Frankie were hanging out with us for a little bit as well. I believe they'll be getting out of here in a little bit shortly, but it's great to have the iHeartRadio team out and about today, man, representing in a big way. As I said, we had boots on the ground down there at the Art Museum steps from Q102 and, of course, Power 99 and all of our radio stations being represented. And then now here with the post-parade celebration rolling on at PJ's. Great spot.
Yeah, fantastic spot.
Oh, by the way, with Super Bowl 59 with the replay here, so we could relive some of the great moments. Now, this was the second drive, I want to say, right? Because this was when this wasn't the drive when of course, AJ got the interference call.
No, this was the Jahan Dotson and then push drop. Yeah.
Which was a crazy swing. Jahan Dotson scoring a first touchdown would have been an insane number for sports.
But also, I had Jalen Hurts anytime, so that was good for me.
We do stuff with DraftKings, and we had Julian Edlow join the show this week, and we went over the top 10 plays that were wagered on via player props. And, of course, Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown was a top 10 play. It was his only touchdown, too. Think about that. Like, if he doesn't get in there, if Dotson does get in, maybe Jalen doesn't score at all, which would have been in a complete upset for everybody out there.
That would not have been good for me.
No. And, of course, sportsbooks would have loved that for a cash-in, simple way of looking at it on that one. All right, again, we're reliving the great moments from today, and if you were down there, we'd love to hear from you. Get involved in the conversation.
Now, there is a greatest moment. I don't know if we want to go over that now, but I think there is a greatest moment. An image that captures all, if you want to hear.
An image that captures all. Well, it's got to be Howie Roseman taking the Hey, Howie
taking the battle scars
Howie
and still
Roseman
looking great at the end of it. Yeah.
if you don't know this, the general manager for the Philadelphia Eagles, the man who put it together, who has built an empire, gets hit in the head by a beer can.
By some random Philadelphian with a cannon of an arm.
And not just like a ding. I'm talking
He got a gash. Yeah.
circle of the bottom of the beer can, perfect, right in the middle of his forehead, blood, and how he gets up on stage to say today.
I
and says,
bleed for this.
I bleed for this city.
That was maybe the hardest line of the entire speech, the Super Bowl parade.
I don't know
speech.
how you can top that. You're telling me there's a moment that
So
tops that.
there was, and I think it's the most obvious one. But Brandon Graham being in the middle of 2 Super Bowl trophies, brace. This used to be an organization that would dream for just one.
Yeah.
And like we have always been an organization, or at least a city that has been one of those snake bitten. They're never going to win it. They can't win the big game. This is just who they are. And now what are the Eagles? They're one of the organizations that's won multiple. They're one of the organizations, like the very few you can say they have won. They have multiple Lombardi trophies in a case. We have never been able to say that. Like it's crazy to think that this is what the Eagles are now. Like we have gone through 52 years where it's mostly been you can't win anything. Now they are one of the marquee winningest franchises in the entire league.
You know, you go back to 2000, since 2000, and I know that graphic was out there. You got to think about the 3 winningest organizations in professional football. It's the Patriots, it's the Chiefs, and the Eagles.
It's the Eagles, yeah.
Hands down.
And the Eagles have beat both of those teams en route to those Super Bowls, which speaks volumes about the Patriots and Chiefs being in those Super Bowls over and over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, also the Eagles beat those teams on the way there.
Great quarterbacks going up against, and then this one was the best one yet. You know, that was a special one, obviously, with Foles defeating Brady, but Brady still threw for 900 yards.
Yeah, it's special in a different way, but yeah, to be so very clearly the better team was that was satisfying. There's for some reason that is a very satisfying thing to know and to watch.
We shall see what happens as far as the players that will be looking for greener pastures, if I could put it to you like that. Of course, contracts will be elevated for some of these players, and especially with the performance that they did and that they were able to put out there on Super Bowl 59, specifically with that defensive front. The rotation, guys that really weren't getting a ton of play. We went over the snap count. It was crazy to see how much game or snaps Jalen Carter actually got off in that game. Now, again, it got ugly at the end, so that had something to do with it. But, man, they kept the rotation going, and that was their plan all along. They were going to dominate up front going up against that offensive line.
And it felt like every guy dominated up front, even Brandon Graham to Milton Williams to Josh
Hunt.
Sweat to Jalen Hunt. Right, Jalen Hunt. It was more than just even getting a sack. I think he was getting pressures almost. It felt like every snap he took, he was getting some pressures. The entire defensive line dominated. It just felt like every guy you put out there was going to make a play, and that's special and very hard to do. But it's almost a thing you have to do against quarterbacks that great.
We hosted a show, which we will be back out there on Monday, every Monday night at 6 p.m., the All-Pro Philly Show, Gerald Colton, Dave Spadaro on our airwaves. And each week we were able to feature a player from this team. And the cool thing about that show at the All-Pro Philly Show is that it's not always A.J. Brown or Saquon Barkley. It's the other guys that make up the 53-man roster. So you're able to learn about a lot of these players. Go down the list as you were producing those shows. Who participated in the All-Pro Philly Show? Ojomo.
Ojomo. And Ojomo had a really good game. Yes, that's right. He did
Ojomo.
too. He had a good one. But Zach Bond was on the show. Cooper DeJean was on the show. Reed Blankenship was on the show. Britton Covey was on the
Milton
show.
Williams make it out there?
I can't remember. I think Milton Williams might have. But Ojomo was on those.
Yep.
There was probably a couple of Nakobe Dean was on those as well.
Nakobe Dean as well.
I can't forget Nakobe Dean. That's one that obviously because of the injury doesn't get the shine of being in the playoffs and having that playoff success. But a huge part of what that defense was, and it just obviously credit to Oren Burks for being able to. And I think he was a guest as well. Burks might have been.
Burks was a guest.
And he stepped in and played tremendous football.
Will Shipley.
Will Shipley.
Fred Johnson there?
Yes, Fred Johnson too. Yep.
it's a great season, and it's going to be a lot of fun to recap it, go back, and of course, we're nowhere near done. You know, we might have won the Super Bowl and the parade went off today, but man, they're going to be
But have
talking
you
about
ever
us.
felt like a team that has been, it almost feels like a college team what the Eagles did, that every player you put out there was good. It's almost like you had a 5-star, like Alabama, if they were to play a mid-major team, go out, yeah, your second, third starters are going to dominate every single one. To be able to do that in the NFL, to where you can have your second, third string guys go and beat the New York Giants who are starting every single player that they have, that's really hard to do. And then also in the Super Bowl, having guys like Ojimo, Jalix Hunt, like you were talking about deep down into the roster, these guys are contributing. That doesn't happen ever at all in the NFL. Nobody has that, and the Eagles had that this year. It was something that I think Howie has been building towards because he's drafted so well that eventually, you're going to start getting deep into your roster where you've drafted really great guys. But to do that consistently and over these past 4 years, that's incredibly hard to do. And I don't think I've seen that with any team. I don't think I've seen that much depth.
No, definitely not. All right, we are live here at PJ Whelihan's here on a post-parade celebration. You got Sean Brace, John Jansen. We are Fox Sports Rated to Gambler. Find us on iHeartRadio app or get us on our socials too at Fox PHL Gambler, at Fox PHL Gambler. I love how you are multitasking over here. You put an order in.
I did.
While you're hosting, while you're giving us like the X's and O's, and you're like, 10 hot, blue cheese naked.
There's one thing I know how to do, Brace. It's order wings. All right, that's the only thing I know how to do in life.
All right, we're gonna go a couple more minutes here. I want to give him his flowers, as the kids say.
Which one?
You like that, kids? Nick Sirianni. Got to give Nick the coach his flowers. And you know, we talked about it going into today on how cocky Nick would be.
How he should have been.
How boisterous he would be up there on the microphone flexing. It was a long day. To me, if I could go ahead and change the parade, I would do a few things. I'm all about the parade through Broad Street, and of course as you get through City Hall, that's awesome. But maybe we do the speeches before. Maybe we get that out of the way first, and then it's just a celebration, line the streets, and you take it back to Lincoln Financial Field. I like ending on the Art Museum steps. I just don't like the speeches at the end.
If you're going to do the speeches, maybe start with like a player first and not the mayor and governor, and especially the mayor who had the longest speech of anyone.
My buddy asked me if the mayor's still speaking. Does she get up there and just talk?
She probably is. somewhere, some way. I don't know to who or to what, but she's speaking.
I missed that. Yeah, I didn't.
It took forever. And after that, it's like, the wind was out of everyone's sails.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
and again, those players, look, it was a long day for them too. And of course, by the time that they get the opportunity to step up to the microphone, putting some words together,
and
might be
none of them wanted to talk.
Look how cool this guy is. Look how cool. I mean, it's just, there's nobody cooler than Jalen Hurts right now.
But even he was nervous stepping up to the mic and the podium.
Well,
it's a sea of people, so yeah,
there's a million
going to be
people
nerves.
front and center, and then look at all the people that are watching at home.
But I was surprised. Hurts, I had to say rattled. It was just like, I think he was even stunned by the moment, just the crowd and everything. Stunned by
Live Aid.
Do you imagine performing in front of that crowd?
No,
no,
definitely not.
I couldn't even imagine talking in front of that crowd.
Back to Nick Sirianni.
Maybe a little bit more liquid encouragement would have been.
Oh, there was plenty of that. Yeah, Kevin Hart's tequila was down there. It was the big.
Kevin Hart's what?
He's got a tequila company. It's this big bottle that literally is like shaped like. It's
is that the one
slender.
Barkley had? Oh, okay.
So they had plenty of that going on. That's for sure. And then
I'm
Saquon Barkley
definitely
got
not
all the Bud Light shipped. So there was boxes of Bud Light. They were calling it Bird Light. The booze was flowing. All right. And the beers were flying. We know that. But Nick Sirianni, again, for those that have no idea about me and the show, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m., I was clearly not a Nick Sirianni guy. I was not. If you had me check a box, I would check the box of, nope, I'm not a Nick Sirianni guy. He has proven me wrong. And then some, because I've doubted him 2 times now, and both times I've doubted him, he's taken his team to the Super Bowl and won one. So this guy deserves all the credit in the world. And just the growth of what we saw this season. That's what I would give him the most credit for is how he grew this whole season. He stayed consistent. But what's an area that you think he can improve? What's something that he will do differently next year? How will he approach? Again, offensive coordinator's got to be new. So that's going to be a new wrinkle, something different for next year. But what else can Nick Sirianni improve on in your mind in order to take that next step and keep things going in the right direction?
That's an interesting one. I mean, I guess it more just depends on how much you think he's involved in the offense. Like, did he completely give all control to Kellen Moore and it wasn't his offense, which I don't think that was. I think the improvement comes, that he becomes a little bit more involved and it becomes more of his style, or I guess foundation of an offense that can continue to be tweaked by guys coming in. Yes, it can be tweaked by Kellen Moore or Shane Steichen or Brian Johnson, but always having that foundation of an offense, because that's who he is. That's what Sirianni, I think, has most of his handprints on, is offensive game planning and offensive scheme, and to just continue to build off of that. Because I think as a coach of motivating players or cultivating great locker rooms, he's nailed it perfectly. That is one of the maybe most loved coaches by his players, I think, in the entire league. And it speaks volumes how they talk about him, how he's been talked about even after what happened, the disaster last year, and then all through this year. He should get a lot of credit for that. And he should have always gotten credit for it, even after everything that happened last season.
Yeah, it was just a tough one to
It was.
put behind you, and that's where I was guilty of it. I allowed last year to bleed into this year, and the first loss.
I was adamant that Sirianni should have been brought back and gotten credit for the Super Bowl, but I did think that there was a moment going into the bye week where it was this is starting to look like the same thing again. Maybe,
yes.
Not to say it was wrong to bring him back, but maybe something isn't going to change, and obviously things did, big time.
Again, just a heck of a season, and of course the celebration rolls on. Everybody's
crazy. I mean, it's
still
one of
down there.
many redemption arcs. There's been so many of those, and Howie's just is a 7-8 year long redemption arc that's continuing over and over again. But Sirianni had one. Kellen Moore even had one. Kellen Moore essentially got fired.
Yeah, he did.
Kellen Moore got fired at 2 jobs.
Kellen Moore's been fired 2 times.
Yes. He wasn't getting. He was an offensive coordinator that was thought to be a very quickly becoming head coach. Didn't get it. Got fired from Dallas. Was the scapegoat there.
Yep.
Was in a lame duck regime with Brendan Staley. And so he had a redemption arc. Vic Fangio was thought to be considered a bad coach because of what happened in Miami.
Yep.
Miami ran him out. And they said, you're not good enough. Like, you're too bad of a coach. You're too strict of a coach. We don't want you. He had a great redemption arc. Saquon Barkley had a redemption arc. Jalen Hurts had a redemption arc. Mekhi Becton, Zach Bond. Like, the list of all of these guys who have turned into nearly all-pro players that have had sort of this redemption arc is wild to me, that there's been so many. And maybe that's a great theme of this team, is these guys have gone through about as much adversity as you could as a player and have come out on the other side of it becoming the best team in football.
Battle tested,
yeah.
I thought you were gonna go Kelsey on us. This is the whole damn team.
Yeah, but even that team, I don't know, that team certainly had some of that, but that was still new. That was exciting. None of those guys, I think, were doubting. Well, you had the franchise quarterback, he thought, and that was more becoming of everything we thought the Eagles were going to be.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. There were some underdog things. Nick Foles is the greatest underdog story of all time.
Yeah.
In terms of being tested, getting knocked down, going through kind of those, are they good enough or not, and coming out on the other side of that 10 times better than they ever were. That to me is a very interesting thing to happen, and it speaks to what the organization is now.
I love it. I love anytime we can be wearing Eagles gear in February. That always puts a smile on my face. Broadcasting live from PJ Whelihan's out here in Wynwood. Sean Brace and John Jansen with you. We're hanging out till 7 o'clock. Don't worry, we're not going to run our yaps for the next 2.5 hours. I promise you.
I can if you want me to.
No,
I don't think anybody wants.
We're going to stuff our faces with some great PJ wings as well. Make sure you take care of your bartenders and wait staff. Have some fun. If you would love to get involved in the conversation, people that have been down to the parade, hanging out all day, maybe a thought from the season, a play that's going to stand out. Here's one that gets the memory going. Is there a play for you that you will remember, whether it was from regular season, postseason, Super Bowl, that you will look back on this season 10 years from now going, oh yeah, I remember it. That was the play. Because if you recall in 2017, it was either the Patrick Robinson pick 6 against the Vikings. It could have been the flea flicker in that game. It could have been the
Philly special.
well, I was going to say the Falcons game where Torrey Smith caught the ball.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was tipped.
Yeah. Hit off the guy's knee and then.
That's always
yeah.
a play, I think.
Or even just the goal line stop on 4th down where Matt Ryan throws it in the back of the
Yep.
end zone through Julio Jones.
over
hand.
Julio Jones. Yes. Wow, I still can't believe they didn't convert on that one. But that's one of the things we go back and we think about. And of course, over to the Super Bowl, Philly special, Brandon Graham strip sack.
Yep.
What was the one play that you will remember 2024-25 Eagles Super Bowl champions from? All right. Let's get that conversation going. You can find us on socials at Fox PHL Gambler, at Fox PHL Gambler. We're hanging out till 7 o'clock. It's the Super Bowl champions post-parade celebration right here at PJ Whelihan's. More after this. Here.
Michael Powell's. The whistles are wild. Oh, that's loud. Oh my God. Damn. Yeah. It's always sad seeing theme parks. Dude, seeing like things torn down in theme parks is always like one of the most eerie looking sights. Like abandoned theme parks, eerie as hell. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's creepy. That's creepy. Do you need the Wi-Fi? No, I mean I have iHeart's Wi-Fi. If you need that.
Nice. Yeah, we will sit like 5:30. We'll go like
2 more segments. Yep. Coming to you live once again, PJ Whelihan's is the post parade for your Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Once again, PJ Super Bowl champions. Can we get one? E-A-C-L-E-A. Oh,
Check.
what did I do? All right, there it is.
There you go.
Yeah, so that was our second Eagles chance. So we took the under on that one. That is not me.
No.
That is not me. I'm still dry from January, baby. Believe I'm holding out. Still holding out.
By the way, have you really?
Yes. The last alcohol.
No wonder you didn't go to the parade.
Don't call me out like that.
You didn't. You just didn't want the temptation.
Don't call me out like that. Yes, I have. Last beverage I did have a beverage at the Green Bay Packer. A couple, actually. The Green Bay Packer playoff game. But other than that,
okay.
That was the only time I slipped up in January. Still holding out. Still holding strong. Anyways, happy Valentine's Day, everybody out there. Of course, our Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl champions. My name is Sean Brace. That's John Jansen. We are Fox Sports Radio The Gambler on iHeartRadio app. Of course, streaming on socials at Fox PHL Gambler. Get involved with the conversation at Fox PHL Gambler. If you were down at the parade, love to hear your thoughts, highlights. I hear the mayor is still speaking. I hear she's still down there speaking at this point in time. I kid. We love her. All right, so a couple quick ones that we have yet to get to. Some comments or some quotes that are going to live on from today's celebration. Jalen Hurts at the top of the list. Jalen Hurts said, quote, I told myself when I got drafted that I wouldn't go to the Rocky Steps until I won a championship, and now we here.
I like it.
That's good. What do you
That's
mean
good.
you like it?
I don't know. Like, why would he be going to the Rocky Steps? Like, why casually would you just, hey, let's go to
I think
the Rocky
more
Steps?
people that visit the city of Philadelphia go to the Rocky Steps than the Liberty Bell.
Yeah, but he's not visiting. He's playing. This is like an active place that he's in. I don't know.
Have you
Does
ever
he-
seen the lines? People are constantly at the
Okay,
Rocky Steps.
I don't know. He doesn't seem like maybe a cultural, like, doesn't want to go and see the sights all that much. I don't know.
He's been here for a little while.
Yeah, it's sort of like, has he do the tour? Has he done all the touristy stuff?
Well, now he doesn't have to pay for a single beverage in the rest of his
No,
life in this city.
no.
That's for sure. All right. Also from today, highlight A.J. Brown, and we won't.
He had the best one.
We won't exactly what said or say what came out of his mouth, but you could connect the dots.
We can't say half the things that were said
It was.
at the parade.
You know, the funny thing is that I remember people were outraged in 08. Very few. Let me take that back. But there were people upset about.
But it was like a jarring thing that he did.
About
That Chase
Chase
Utley,
Utley,
yeah.
yeah.
When he did it, everybody's like, oh my, it was a big deal because everyone went, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said it. Because you were just waiting for somebody or to maybe think it might happen, and then it happened. And then the Eagles this time just kept doing it.
World
and didn't stop.
champions. World champion. All right, so we got a lot to get to. I promise you, we're going to be here till 7 o'clock.
But AJ's quote was the best.
yeah,
for
it
sure.
was. Go look it up. Really good stuff. And then finally, I would say top 3. You got to include Howie Roseman. We talked about it a little earlier. Howie got hit by a can of beer. Somebody was throwing, and the videos are out there. It's just insane to see people like, I get it, players. I guess we're like, hey, over here. I don't know. I'm not comfortable throwing a 12-ounce
No, not me.
Bud Light, all the, you know. And I get paid to throw T-shirts and stuff at Wings games.
Do you really?
Oh, I got a good arm.
I was about to say, how's the arm feeling?
I got a cannon.
Because I was thinking, you know, with you now, like if you threw one, your rotator cuff might be a
No,
little
I'm
sore.
strong.
Okay, so you're holding up strong, throwing T-shirts all the time at Wings games.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
Philadelphia Wings. Get down to a Wings game, all right? In arena announcer there. All right, we do have.
You're no Jacob DeGrom. You know, you can keep throwing out there.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Great. That's a pull. Where did you come up with the ground from? The
He's
baseball
just always
season?
hurt. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and it's baseball season. Go Phils.
That's true. It is also the NBA All-Star Weekend. I do want to jab you with the topic on the way out just to have some fun.
About NBA All-Star Weekend.
yes. Highlights, though,
You jabbed
from.
me today about something about NBA All-Star
Hey,
Weekend.
man, we're topical. We keep it up.
The Eagles just won the Super Bowl. We just celebrated a parade.
Yes.
And you want to ask me an NBA All-Star question?
We've been here for 3 hours.
How many
right?
Sixers are in the NBA All-Star game?
0.
Okay. No, thank you.
Anyways, moving on. Jalen Hurts is the top of the charts for all of us right now. And if you were down at the parade, you did not get an opportunity to see the new commercial that they rolled out today. Now, I know they had one during the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. It was during the Super Bowl. It might have been after. Love Hurts. But it was the theme for today, and you got to love it because of course, Valentine's Day. You had Love Park down in Center City, rolled out like an extra part of the sign that said Hurts, put it next to it. That was tremendous. All the coverage on 6 ABC, Fox 29. I don't think NBC Sports or CBS was, but Fox and ABC, it was presented by Love Hurts Jumpman. Like, you think about all the great athletes that have been sponsored by Michael Jordan, by Jumpman, by Nike.
That's great branding.
That's incredible.
That's incredible branding.
Have they ever had a Super Bowl champion before? I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't think Mahomes.
I don't think so. So I think Michigan is Jumpman, so they've had college,
yeah.
But I don't know if they've had specifically a player do this on this stage.
Yeah, look, of course they're notorious for hoops. Luka, matter of fact, is a Jumpman guy. Tatum's a Jumpman guy at this point.
But just the branding Love Hurts is fantastic.
Dak Prescott is Jumpman. Did not know that.
Yeah, he won't be on this stage.
Definitely not. Definitely not. All right.
Not the way Jarrah's going.
Probably not. No. Schottenheimer?
Yeah. Brian Schottenheimer.
Good luck on that one. All right. And then staying with, of course, Jalen today. Getting the opportunity to step up there. Like, to me, the image that I will remember from this celebration today, the parade, it's all about Jalen Hurts. It's him with the cigar, the sweatshirt, Love Hurts, which the only thing I would say they dropped the ball on is not having those sweatshirts available for purchase.
Oh, they have to. I wanted one, but I heard it's, I don't think it's available.
They would have sold 1 million of them today.
Oh, 100%.
Easily.
I would have actually bought one. That's a great shirt.
I bought a sweatshirt. I went to the pro shop immediately. I got this hat, and I got the T-shirt that they gave away.
I'm still trying to figure out what to get.
Yeah,
The hats are always good, but
this is a good hat.
That's a great hat.
It fits good. The Champions is big. It's a good hat. The T-shirt's kind of generic, so I would say hold up on that one. You know what I'm a big fan of is there are more and more people that are just doing their own thing. So much creativity all over the place. This one gentleman I know, he kind of does stuff for Grateful Dead and with the Grateful Dead logo, and he's a Philadelphia sports fan. So he came out with a special Super Bowl commemorative sweatshirt where it says "Down the shoulders, not like us."
Ooh, okay.
Oh, it's
there we
strong.
go. That's good.
Yeah, it was 75.
By the way,
bones.
I have not stopped watching that halftime show.
Really?
I keeps coming up on like Instagram and Twitter. Drake, how do you come back from that?
Yeah, he got it pretty good.
I mean,
That's for sure.
he not looking at the camera going, "Say Drake still,"
Yeah.
is one of the craziest things I've ever seen in a Super Bowl.
Well,
That was nuts.
I would also say that it was the song of the year via the Grammys.
Oh, yeah.
So it already was potentially, or it already was.
It was skyrocketed.
New
Yeah,
heights,
it has been recognized as like the biggest song of the year kind of thing. But the origins of it, and then also how he presented the whole song of, "You're going to sue me, but I don't care."
He was great. He's
awesome.
He's a great performer. Matter of fact, coming to Lincoln Financial Field, Kendrick Lamar and SZA. So get on down, get some tickets. I will be
iHeart
there.
presence down there.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, some quick ones though from today. The one that people should get a kick out of is Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean getting mixed up. Gotta love that. There was one bus that Reed Blankenship was on, safety for the Eagles, defensive side of the ball, of course, Cooper DeJean as well, rookie. And they were chanting Coop, 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 and Reed's like, "No, I'm
Reed.
yeah, I'm Reed, man, I'm Reed." So I just thought that was hysterical.
You should have went along with it. Like, sure, why not?
That's a highlight from today in my mind. Also, I thought one of the cooler things was paying it back to what Chris Long did in that fur coat when he stepped out there in the parade of 2017 with the Allen Iverson jersey, the fur coat. And Josh Sweat, as a matter of fact, hit him up and asked him if he could rock the coat. Josh Sweat led the team in sacks this year with 8.5. Of course, had a great Super Bowl. What do you, two sacks, 2.5 sacks in the Super Bowl?
I think so, yeah. He had multiple.
Unbelievable.
Big impact.
He had such a good Super Bowl. I'm spitting on the microphone. That's how amazing he was. It's crazy to think how good he was, this whole season, A, but B, in the Super Bowl. And specifically, they needed him in a big way. Because you remember, the big issue was coming into the season was who is going to get after the quarterback? How are they going to sack that quarterback? Think about all the success they had 2 years ago. Would they be able to find that groove again? And Nolan Smith came out of nowhere. Again, the whole defense started figuring it out after the Tampa Bay game, after that bye week in general. But Josh Sweat leading the charge with 8.5 sacks. The stats speak for themselves.
Yeah, they do. And that guy was on a contract year last year. That was supposed to be the one. He had a good year prior. Now, every single defensive lineman for the Eagles did in that Super Bowl year. But comes into the next year, 1 year left on his deal. Just needed to play well, semi-well, and he probably has a pretty lucrative contract somewhere because he plays a premium position that somebody is going to pay money for, and didn't perform well at all. And then you flash forward to this year, he's had a good season, just had one of the best performances on the biggest stage, and was able to impact that game in such a huge way. And again, such a great quarterback that I think teams look at it and go, okay, if that's what he can do, and if that's the kind of impact that he can make, he's going to make a bunch of money. So good for him. He made himself a very, very lucrative contract and earned himself that one in that game.
All right, so we're talking about guys that made themselves some extra coin via the Super Bowl. Now, let's talk about a gentleman that could be potentially hanging it up, and I assume he is in Brandon Graham.
I would imagine so.
That's the swan song?
I was actually kind of waiting for him to say it. I was waiting for him to say, I got these two trophies next to me. I've done all I can do. I'm going to retire as an Eagle, or I'm going to retire. This is the best way I can go out.
He said, quote, I'm so thankful for my kids, my family, so thankful to be a part of this organization. You guys made me what I am today. Only problem I have with this season is that it's over. We getting ready for next year. He also went on to say, we from Philly, that and Italy, no one likes us. We don't care.
Yeah, no one likes us, but why was there a lot of we are America's team now? I don't want that. I don't want to be America's team. I want everybody to hate us. Go ahead.
They will.
Hate us. They do?
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
There's no reason.
Yeah, no. We just won a second Super Bowl. We are just incredible levels of cockiness and
Who said
definitely.
it? Somebody said it over the weekend. That's where it came from. That
Really?
we're America's team. Yeah.
I do not want to be America's team. Leave that to Dallas. They can be America's
I don't
team.
think we have to worry about that problem. I think front and center the dislike for this
Who wants
team.
to be that though?
Well, look, we don't need to go into history lesson of how it actually unfolded, but I don't remember really myself crowning the Cowboys as America's team either. So, regardless, though, we're not spending much time on that one.
Yeah,
it's all about the birds.
No, thank you. I don't want. There's only one Philly.
Also from the day, Lane Johnson, which I thought he kept it PC, which is good.
Is it?
He said, Nick Foles taught me how to speak soft and carry a big stick. Actually, that was Teddy Roosevelt, but I thought it was fitting.
All I'll say is that man, they're still talking about that 8 years later.
Lane Johnson.
Still mentioning that 8 years later.
How many players on this team right now are on a path to the Hall of Fame, or would you say are
Lane Johnson's a Hall of Famer.
Lane Johnson's absolutely a Hall of Famer. Lane Johnson, now, was drafted by Chip Kelly, 4th overall, I want to say, in that draft. The thing that I say all the time about Lane Johnson is when I talk about him, like I'm not an offensive line guru, all right? I don't claim to know offensive line, all right? And anytime I talk about Lane Johnson, I go, he's the best at his position. And I almost invite people to tell me someone that's not Lane Johnson that they would say, you know what, no, actually this person is at that position better than Lane Johnson. For years now, nobody has yet to do that. Think about that. Like in this day and age where everybody wants to debate everything, especially in sports, like social media, if you tweeted out right now, Lane Johnson has been the best at his position for the last decade, no one is going to tell you you're wrong.
I don't think so. And you wouldn't be. Obviously wouldn't be.
But think about how crazy that is to have that on social media where everybody would be in agreement.
Yeah, I mean, he is the easiest Hall of Famer, I think, out of all the. Now the thing is, you won 2 Super Bowls, and a lot of guys from those Super Bowl teams are going to be looked at, as we know, for Hall of Fame looks. But Lane Johnson's the most obvious slam dunk. That's happening no matter what. Like he already has the Hall of Fame resume. Now there are guys building towards it. I think Jalen Carter's a Hall of Fame talent. He doesn't have the resume. I think Jordan Mailata's a Hall of Fame talent.
Wow.
And I think
his story's incredible.
His story's awesome. The fact that he has become a Hall of Fame talent, and obviously Saquon's a Hall of Fame talent. Those are the guys that I would immediately say.
Not AJ?
AJ's going to be close. I think Jalen's actually on a Hall of Fame trajectory now. Definitely.
you think?
100%. Yeah. I mean, you got to win this.
He might be one of the more on the Eagles roster. Like, yeah, Lane Johnson, as I said, just because he's got a little bit more skin in the game. But Jalen's number 2 in my mind. Look,
Yeah, I just don't think he has the overall numbers to make it a slam dunk or like that. Oh, yeah, he's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. But it's getting to there, and it's going to be to the point where he's going to play a lot more seasons now that he's won the Super Bowl. He's a made man, and he's going to have better. I think his better years are actually ahead of him.
he's a made man. Oh, yeah. He's
I
20,
think he actually.
be 27 in August.
You know what's going to be maybe one of my first bets placed for next season?
Eagles win the Super Bowl?
Jalen Hurts MVP. Now that there's a comfortableness with him, I know we talk a lot about offensive coordinators moving on, but Jalen Hurts didn't have like his best year. His best year was still in 2022. I think he has a better year ahead of him, and I think it's next year. And again, we've seen a lot with teams starting off a lot better after a Super Bowl winning season, and so I think they're going to start better. I think he's going to have a really great year. I'm almost all in on Jalen Hurts at MVP.
Almost.
No, I am. That's what it's going to be my first bet for next season.
You're darn right. Once again, Eagles, top of the mountain, Super Bowl champions. Oh, it feels good to say. And it's going to be the focus for the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. Of course, we got the Combine fast approaching, the NFL Draft at the end of April in Green Bay, of all places. We are opening up shop on Thursday Night Football. We will be the first game at home in Lincoln Financial Field. That's a September game. That's September after Labor Day.
Yeah.
Some of the potential opponents could be the Chicago Bears, could be the
I saw Detroit Lions.
Detroit.
Which that would be interesting.
correct, could be obviously the division opponents too as well. Whether it's, I don't think that they would roll a division opponent.
I don't
game
think
out
so.
there to open up the.
I think it might. I would say Detroit, most likely.
Somebody
Before Detroit potentially gets bad.
Schefter was preaching it. Look at him. Look how cool he is. Look at him. Come on, man. As we are watching the replay here at PJ Whelihan's in Wynwood Sports Center, there's Howie Roseman with the blood coming out of his forehead. I'll bleed for this city. He took a 12-ounce Bud Light can off the forehead. Our general
You
manager.
want to try that? Can I throw a 12-ounce Bud Light can?
That's good.
It's got to be the same distance.
It's got to hurt.
But the thing is, I got to be accurate enough to throw it. But that's got to hurt.
Head coach Nick Sirianni with that great win percentage.
Too humble. I don't like that.
All he does is make the playoffs. All he does is win a Super Bowl, make the Super Bowl. Look at that.
Don't be humble about it.
Jalen Hurts, incredible season. Just living it up again, talking about what took place in the Super Bowl. And again, that sweatshirt. Like, come on, man. That needed to be available right here, right now. And there's AJ. This was the best one. And for my money, AJ Brown, if you missed it, dropped a beep word, and but still hit home and got the people buzzing.
Again, I think it's the theme of this team is there have been questions about him. That's basically what AJ was saying is you can question whether I look at the stats or I look at things individually, but the only thing you can say about me right now is that I'm a champion. Like everything has been said about the Eagles. The Eagles have gotten it all. And it stems from last season, but the Eagles were not talked about very favorably a lot and not given a lot of credit for what they did in the Super Bowl year, thinking it was a fluke and that they were never going to get back again. Sirianni, no way he's a good enough coach to do it, or Jalen Hurts was a good enough quarterback to get there. The defense, all these things that were questioned, and then sideline blow-ups. And do these guys actually like each other as a team? Are they? It's crazy to think about now, but those were actually things being said. And especially about AJ and the passing offense being said. And it just all seems so ridiculous now, but AJ being able to kind of put that stamp on the that's the only thing you can call us now. That's the only thing you can say about us. You can't question anything else. You can't tell us anything else. Super Bowl champions. Pretty simple.
Well, I just love being a topic of conversation, as we are going to be for quite some time. Super Bowl champs, got the ring.
You got the ring. You got the
I
first
want to
ring.
give a shout out to Giant. They had cupcakes, a 6-pack of cupcakes, and 3 rings were on it. Look at the ring. That's a real
That's a good ring. Yeah.
It's the official Super Bowl logo. Come on, man. You got the AFC and the NFC on
That's
the
well
side.
done.
That's
That's a quality ring.
Cupcakes. Did you see the story?
That should just be the Eagles ring.
Did you see the story about the Giant catching slack?
Oh, because of the Kelsey stuff. Yeah, I saw that.
Don't people have enough time?
A lot of Kelsey stuff has been.
People got enough time on their hands to do stuff like that, to report them, tweet people.
Are you allowed to support your brother? Let's see.
Dumb.
Let's throw it out to social media.
So they are talking about us right now in SportsCenter. One of the things that they are bringing up is the fact that they got to keep the defense together. Can they keep the defense together? Now, we talked about Zach Bond, and he's the big one, right? Like the middle linebacker, dude had an all-pro season, pretty cheap coming into this season. He's going to get paid, but will there be teams out there that are ready to offer him crazy amounts of money?
No, not because. Also because of the position he plays.
Correct.
That his position doesn't get a lot of money to begin with. I think what was it, San Francisco that threw a bunch of money at Fred Warner or whoever it was.
Yeah, well,
and
Fred
great
Warner
player,
might be
but everybody that's a terrible. Why you putting that much money into a position that doesn't need it? But it was obviously a great idea, and I just don't. Teams aren't going to be willing, and it's been 1 year. So, yes, he's going to get more offers than he would have previously. He's going to get more money than he has previously. But is it something that's going to really price out the Eagles? Most likely not. That one more leads to Josh Sweat is if a team's really that desperate to get an edge rusher, are they going to throw a bunch of money in the Eagles? Are they going to be able to match that? And the answer likely is no, even though I would like him back. I think the one that does definitely come back is Zach Bond. I don't see a scenario where the Eagles can't afford what his price tag will be.
Yeah, I look at what the relationship is with how he brought him in. They had a moment on the Art Museum steps today. Now, again, no one's going to say that you're going to get a hometown discount or anything along those lines, but there is something to be said about winning and seeing it, how successful you can be and what they're building. I go back to the Kellen Moore decision, and I don't know what the price tag was that he was getting from the New Orleans Saints, but it better be, a couple million. It better be more than what he was,
Yeah, I mean,
obviously
it definitely is.
more.
It's more.
But what is the
No
number?
pun intended. Yeah, and for him, I don't even know if the number matters. Because, again, we've talked about a lot of these guys are in positions now that they haven't been. Zach Bond's in a position to make more money than he ever has. Josh Sweat's in position to make more money than he ever has. Kellen Moore, it's been a while since he's had this head coaching opportunities. There was a thought when he was in Dallas that he was going to get it, and he just never did. So it's great that he was able to come here after a bad stint in Dallas, or at least they scapegoated him and fired him. Then a bad stint in with the Chargers in Los Angeles because Brandon Staley was going to get fired anyway, and he was with a lame duck coach. So he found himself in a great spot. A team wanted him, and I think Kellen Moore, look, he probably could have gotten a better offer potentially and a better place to go to if he waited one more year. I do not blame him for a second for taking whatever he could because it's been a long time coming for him. He's been waiting for this one for a few years, for a while.
Yeah, look, and there's only 32 teams, and of course, only so many opportunities.
Oh, yeah, right.
But I'm really
The
curious.
Saints one's really bad, so I get it. I get the questioning of it. It's awful.
They're already over the cap. They have a disaster.
Derek Carr has a $51 million cap hit.
And we talked.
Derek Carr.
We talked about Aaron Rodgers, and yeah, I would rather Aaron Rodgers over Derek Carr. I would rather.
I probably would too.
Yes.
And I think Aaron Rodgers stinks right now. I think he stinks out loud.
I think you can win a football game with him.
Yeah, the Jets won a couple with him.
It's tough to.
They didn't win enough.
It's tough to make the argument for a guy like Rodgers. I get it, but he had
Better than Derek Carr, though.
absolutely
Definitely better than
His
Derek
numbers weren't all that bad last year.
They were okay. They were fine.
Yeah. He only had 11 picks, 28 touchdowns, something like that, I think. It wasn't a bad season.
It was fine.
It was a bad season. Yeah, it's hard to make the argument for it. All right, back over to the Eagles because we are back on top. Super Bowl champions once again broadcasting live from PJ Whelihan's out here in Wynwood. Sean Brace, John Jansen. We are Fox Sports Radio, the Gambler, iHeartRadio app. Give us a follow on socials at Fox PHL Gambler, at Fox PHL Gambler. We're also the home of Villanova basketball and football. Villanova basketball.
Huge win Wednesday.
Back in action tomorrow, but a huge win on Wednesday over St. John's.
I do got to say, they didn't close today? All schools closed in Villanova?
Yeah, that was
Come on, Cats.
That's a tough one.
Come on.
That's a tough one. Yeah, they're going to
I mean, you already have a certain label that you're not really a Philly school, and then you're going to not be a Philly school?
They caught some slack over that one.
I will. I will.
You're right.
I love Villanova basketball. I've loved for a long time.
Well,
So.
my point is, as the school is concerned.
Yes.
You couldn't give the people the day off?
A little bit.
There was a school in Jersey I read that had to close because they didn't have enough teachers. Somebody came over the top of it and said bird flu. So, yeah, that's probably right.
A lot of bird flu going around today.
Yeah, bird flu. A lot of
Yeah.
bird flu today. Trying to find it. It was the Deptford
Wow. They couldn't get enough teachers.
from Steve Keeley of Fox 29, Deptford Township Board of Education. Dear Spartan family, due to a much greater number of staff call-outs than anticipated, we have made a difficult decision to close our school.
Not that difficult. Just close the school. It's one day. These things don't happen.
Well, where does it
These things-
stop?
Brace.
Do you go all the way down to Atlantic City? Are you
Fif-
closing schools in Atlantic City?
59 of these, 59, the Eagles have won 2.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not like every year we're going to be taking off for the Super Bowl. It's 1 year, 1 day to celebrate one thing. It's okay.
Yeah. It's kind of
We'll
like,
live.
like my wife was saying. She's like, you're going to the parade? I'm like, yeah. Like, these things don't come around often. She goes, well, we just had one. I see you're getting fat
Hey.
on me. Look at
And
you.
that didn't just happen. Again, that was a long time ago.
You're right.
A lot of things have changed.
All right, back over to Birds. Once again, get involved in the conversation at Fox PHL Gambler. At Fox PHL Gambler, your highlight today for you. And there were so many. Again, the celebration rolls on. They're not done. The Center City bars are all packed up. I'm still seeing plenty of people on the streets. Xfinity Live was rocking and rolling. We did touch on it a little bit of Xfinity Live issues earlier today. If you missed that one, do some research on that one. But we'd love to get you involved. Once again, we are here till 7 o'clock live from PJ Whelihan's out in Wynwood, reminiscing about the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl championship and today's festivities with a post-parade party here at PJ Whelihan's. I'm Sean Brace. That's John Jansen. We'll be back in a little bit. Enjoy your food. Take care of your bartenders and waitstaff.
Powers. Duval. When I change it to music, yeah, I tried, but I couldn't play it. They don't have the. I don't have the non-cursive version. We'll do so let's talk about it. I call it the people's vision, you know? So it's like people saying you need to serve their drink. Yeah. And that's the only goal is if you get people that are coming in and stay for a couple more minutes. Between this and ours, it's yeah, see, and I didn't know like we were going off the carpet like this. I had no idea. Yeah, this is perfect. And all we need, you know, it's still a big setup. Don't get me wrong. We got one tape. That's perfect. Yeah, we don't need it. Yes. They gave us way too many tables. I got here first, and there was a line out the door.
Wow.
Yeah. I do like that light. I love that light. Yeah. We got a few more.
Oh, yeah.
That's great to hear because this would be right down the road.
For you.
Yeah, 3 minutes. Perfect. Or 3 miles. Perfect.
Yeah.
Really? Oh man, it's all I go to. The one in Yeah, we just got one in Conchi. That's why I go all the time.
So how far is that one?
That one's like a minute.
Wow.
But they're different owners. Wait, I'm a wings and beer guy. Very easy. Wings and beer.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they were wanting to do, again, whether it's a Friday deal or we pick out events, dude, fuck, March Madness.
Yeah, exactly. The other element of it, I didn't do it today because the parade thing, I could run an HDMI and it could take over all the TVs. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a small joint. I like it.
Yeah. The no-fly zone found a Sunoco to set up at. Stage out there.
I saw that.
Yeah.
The golf.
Beef is a nut, dude. We gotta get him a real sponsor.
Tubsy got to be.
Yeah, she's, she's a talker, but she's like beyond excited.
They need to go ahead and get him a midnight green.
Yeah.
This way it doesn't look like the shitty food job. Get him a midnight green. And
Yeah.
like I said he needs to work with them to create the actual beer.
Like a beer version. Yeah, I agree.
Because you never know.
She said last week we sold 20 units, and she's like, I don't know how many are going to college kids. I was like, you told me to move units. You didn't say that.
You would just think that, like, yeah, you just never know. Like, something like that could take off because of
Absolutely.
people
Yeah.
beer balling it. So,
And then eventually they have kids and they buy it again.
we'll do one more segment. We got 2 people shot.
Was it at the I heard it was near something. Yeah, over a porta potty line, by the way. All because someone had to take a piss.
I'll allow it. You know?
Yeah, I think I actually would. Sometimes you really gotta pay. There's no worse feeling.
What's the ideal movie length?
What's the what?
The ideal movie length. I'm gonna make a
3.5 hours. I would say an hour 50.
Thank you.
An hour 30 is too short. An hour 50, like right before 2 hours, I feel like that's a good one. It feels like you got a long movie without actually being that long. Fucking beef. Chicks in the bed.
And of course, Sim's gonna love that shit. Oh God.
I did have a long meeting with Bernie, and he gave me permission to go after corporate accounts. So like Samsung, LG.
Nice.
He even emailed me today so I could get comfortable with it.
Goddamn right, Bernie.
Yeah, it was a really good conversation, and
I've yet to meet him. I would love to fucking
but
finally meet him.
like I said, it was like a knife in the heart when I got my paycheck. And the problem is too, they accidentally terminated me in the system, so I can't even look at my pay stub. So I don't know if it's a mistake. Bro, I don't know if it's a
You
mistake.
know what they did to him, right? They started giving him some different rate out of nowhere. This company was just a disaster. Well, good. Like I said, man, I'm glad you were able to straighten that out. That's number one. You work too hard. You're too
Your whole
good.
team works too hard.
It's just it's
Today proved it. I mean,
again, but it all like revolves around what you're doing, and it's like there's no way we could do something like this and not come away going, oh, yeah, like, and I get it, it's corporate, it's the nonsense, so it doesn't surprise me that maybe like, you know, Howard's gotta do some shit, like it's all like, but come on, man.
I had to videotape myself today for 40 minutes as if I was presenting to a company.
It's like yards was the best thing that we have done
Ever. Yeah. Yeah.
and for
Before that, it was flip flops. Like we have our greatest hits are amazing, dude.
it's the only way we're going to.
Yeah.
That's it. This right here. And we do this bet. Like no one can do. Look, very few can do what we're doing. We are live in a situation where we're not disturbing people. We're not too much over the top. We're not boring. Like we hit the right things. We keep it engaging. You know, look, everyone is kind of in their own world here, so I'm not worried about it. But if I wanted to get people involved, like quiz, like
Even when I knew that from when you were on Main Street in Manio, like you'd have people walking by and you'd interact with them. Legit man on the street.
how do we know? Like, dude, put us here. I'll bring my DJ equipment, plug in there, boom, play it. Like that's when during commercial breaks, come over here, play some music, do some quiz out.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's. I tried to send you the inputs yesterday to
Oh, that's
see if
right,
you were
you did.
familiar with it, but
Dude.
life got crazy and
Yeah. Yeah.
let's leave them wanting more. I'll tell them we'll bring a DJ. Like,
Well, you know, look, just don't even say, yeah, just be like, during commercials, since we have the hookup over there, what we can do is make it a little more interactive.
right.
During
Trivia.
commercials, yeah, we'll get a little more interacting. Trivia, DJ, you know, name that tune,
Love it.
you know, theme it up. Like today's Valentine's Day, I'm playing Valentine's Day, love music.
That's great. Guys, we'll wrap this thing up.
Yeah, let's do it. You tell me that's all right.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Once again, coming to you live, PJ Whelihan's here in Wynwood. Sean Brace, John Jansen. It is Fox Sports Radio to Gambler, a part of iHeartRadio. Make sure you download the brand new iHeartRadio app. You could scan, you could program all of your great radio stations here. Whether it's Power 99, Q102, DAS 105.3, who's hanging out with us a little earlier.
And Roomba.
The Roomba.
Oh, and the Gambler.
You're done.
Us.
You're
Yeah.
done right. Download the brand new iHeartRadio app. And, of course, give us a follow on socials, Instagram, X, Facebook. We're on TikTok,
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky, Fox PHL Gambler, Fox PHL Gambler. We talk a little bit about the national sports from the standpoint of sports gambling, but we always open up with all things Philadelphia. And, of course, we are top of the minds. Our Philadelphia Eagles
Top of the world, Sean Brace.
celebrating a Super Bowl championship. We got 2 Lombardis, man, and what a great ride. What a great run it has been. We were live down at New Orleans with Green Legion Radio. We've been live all throughout the course of the week. We were live leading up and, of course, all season long. I want to have some fun, though, as we're coming down the home stretch here. John Jansen, if I asked you your favorite Philadelphia athlete that never got an opportunity to win a championship, who's the one player in Philadelphia sports for you, your favorite player?
That never won,
That-
or at least
never won a championship.
Okay, so it's not like got there and lost. So
never
it's-
won a ring.
Okay.
They got there, they could have lost, but never won a ring.
Brian Dawkins deserved a ring.
B-Doc.
Brian Dawkins would have had. We think Jason Kelsey's speech was great.
Yeah.
Brian Dawkins would have had the most legendary speech in all of sports history.
Hard to argue.
That one needs to be. And you know what's funny? Trey Thomas was on the Green Legion show this morning, and and players still think about it years and years and years later.
say that?
Trey Thomas, he's like, I wish I was in one of these. He's like, I wish I had one of these. Like, the players still think about it decades later. I mean, 2004, we're 20 years removed from that Super Bowl, and Trey Thomas 20 years later still is like, I wanted to be in one of these so bad. And that's like a genuine feeling of I can't believe I never got to be in one of these.
Well, when you think about it, of course, AI comes to my mind.
AI's a big one.
AI, of course, with Iverson. Just for him to win that championship, whether it would be that the season against the Lakers or whatnot. But,
Also, say maybe like Randall and
well, what,
Reggie White and all that. Yeah,
I would have went. See, this is where I stop and I
Okay.
say my next one up would have been Andy Reid.
oh yeah.
Andy Reid. I wish Andy won a Super Bowl here.
Well, and only because what Andy did allows the Eagles to be this. Like that, just because he left doesn't mean all of that went away. Andy Reid allowed the organization to realize what success was and to be successful. I mean, that's where the foundation started. It was all Andy. And I do wish he to get the credit for that mostly is to win one.
Yep.
So I actually agree with you there a lot.
Yeah.
Andy's a really good one.
Andy would have been mine.
And I hope people, because sometimes you say Andy Reid, people are like, I still don't like Andy.
Yeah.
Andy was great. Great dude, great coach. It would have been awesome to see him win one.
I agree. You could walk through here. You don't have to walk around. Don't worry about that. What's up, big man?
He's going to walk the other way.
It's all right. That's going to be me in a year. I have a newborn. My wife is 6 months pregnant. I'll be chasing around my baby boy in a year. I can't wait. It's going to be me.
This kid's making a getaway.
Yeah, he's running laps.
He's doing great.
He's running laps up here at PJ Whelihan's. He's ready to go. He obviously did not make the parade at 6 a.m. Yeah. He was up at 6 a.m.
If he is, he's still going. That's crazy.
Exactly. All right, keeping it moving again. We're having some fun post-parade as celebration here at PJ Whelihan's in Wynwood. First time here.
This is my first time here too.
And in the
wings
Wynwood.
are great.
Yeah.
That was
Great service across the board. Great people hanging out. Friday night destination for some wings and your favorite beverage.
There's a certain madness thing coming up that might be
Hey,
nice too.
man. Right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
That's crazy.
I thought for a second I might not be able to watch it because of YouTube TV. Thank you.
Yeah, YouTube TV changed that. Thank the Lord. And now I would say
Prayers were answered.
one thing is crazy is with this extended run, and things changed a lot in the sports calendar this year with the addition of the playoff football and college football, right? So that season gets extended to a point, right? Like your focus wasn't on. And then of course we knew the Eagles would be competing for something bigger than than just a division championship. So here we are. So now you look at the college basketball standings. Bro, we're way past the halfway point.
Yes. Oh no, we're getting close to conference tournaments.
Villanova has what, 5 regular season
I think
games
so.
left?
Yeah, they don't have many conference games left.
Right around the corner. We're knocking on March Madness. So, yeah, you're right about that. It's coming, and it's coming really fast. Speaking of college hoops, real quick on this one, if I could. Tomorrow, we have number 1 versus number 2. How does that wet your whistle?
I would say that's pretty good.
It's the Iron Bowl. You got Alabama and Auburn going off tomorrow, and I believe it is a...
Man, imagine that. The basketball matchup is 1 and 2. When's the last time the football matchup has been 1 and 2? Been a long time.
It's a good question. When Cam was there,
Are we ever going to see that again? Auburn's not looking so hot.
well, yeah, but
Bama
still,
without Saban's looking like Bama without Saban.
who knows? We got a long way to debate that one, but you're right. College football has changed a lot with the NIL. Anyways, Auburn, Alabama tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Alabama at home. They're the number 2 team in the country. -1.5. They're a 1.5 favorite. Auburn on the road. Once again, the SEC, believe it or not, people, is a basketball conference this year. It's incredible, top to bottom, some of the best teams in the country. And as I said, 1 versus 2 tomorrow. So as we flip the page, as we turn the page in the calendar, that's a great place to pick up tomorrow in college hoops. And
Huge place.
Villanova tomorrow at 5:30 taking on Providence.
Yes. So all of the Super Bowl stuff's out of the way. We got to celebrate the greatest team in Eagles history, and now college basketball right on the horizon.
Let's go.
Or Sixers, if you're into that thing. If you're into that sort of thing.
No, we're gonna say.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you this question, real quick, and I don't think the people at PJ's would mind. So
Think anybody wants to play the song right now? You want to hear that?
Not that song.
Does anyone at PJ's
I
want to hear
think
the
we
song?
could sing "Fly Eagles Fly" and people would join us. But so here's the question with
Not
the
with us,
slam dunk competition. Of course, it's the All-Star Weekend. You get the festivities. I grew up on the All-Star Weekend. I love the 3-point shootout. Craig Hodges. Come on, man. Slam dunk competition. Jordan, Dominique, Spud, 80s into the 90s. Sean Kemp. We can go on and on. Vince Carter, 97, 98. Kobe won it his rookie year. The thing that they're throwing around right now is because we got Mac McClung for the 3rd straight year, who's representing a bail bondsman. All right? He's won it 2 straight years. Should we pay the players?
Is Mac McClung still in the league?
No.
In the G League?
He's in the G League, I
Okay.
believe. But still, come on,
Yeah.
man. We know that there's some high
He's
flyers
like
in the
one
NBA.
season away from being like a stockbroker.
We need to pay folks to participate in the slam dunk competition. There's a lot of money being made in sponsorships. If I don't care how you got to do it.
Well, you are dangerously close to the All-Star weekend and an entire All-Star thing like just being irrelevant.
That's fine.
Like we're getting dangerously close to just shut it all down. Who
You don't
cares?
have to play the game. You could just do the
Like
slam dunk
you are a
competition.
few seasons away from playing dodgeball between All-Star people. You are very close to doing obstacles. Could you imagine LeBron James going out there and playing dodgeball?
No, I would not.
No. Yeah, there's a
As
reason
you
why
got-
Tyler Huntley's making it the Pro Bowl.
Look right here. You got Drewski up there. That's the celebrity game that's going off tonight. So it's funny you're bringing that up. But I do want to point this out. Last night, and I'm not a big hockey guy, but the Four Nations deal, they rolled that out there. I tuned in last night. You got
Yeah,
America.
people are talking about the hockey. Yeah, people are into it.
Dude, it was awesome. It was great. America scores like 6 goals. I'm going nuts. I haven't watched hockey all season. The Flyers have been okay. And it's just
Tune into Four Nations.
I was watching Four Nations. But here's my point.
America.
NHL rolls out this new idea, and everybody, I don't know, bought into it, but I never heard a word said about it. And then all of a sudden you see it, and it's like, okay, these players are all taking it serious. They're competing, and it's more than just 4 games. They're playing in Canada, they're playing in Boston, whatever. But the NBA, they tried to send season tournament, and everybody was crying about it.
That's a great point. Is hockey maybe the one that could benefit most off of doing these weird things? Like hockey could be more like soccer if they wanted to, because it seems like just obviously it's a regional thing, but people seem to really rally behind whether it's a nation or whether it's a team.
Yeah.
And that's a way to rally a bunch of people together to watch hockey. But hockey does it's not like the biggest global sport, it's not the biggest sport here, but I think that would benefit more off of doing some odd like European soccer kind of things than the NBA would.
Yeah, because they got rid of the All-Star game for this.
That's a great idea.
It was
Actually,
another-
that's a great idea.
I commend him on that. And I was watching hockey last night. I'm like, all right, cool. Four nations face off. Team USA was rolling. As a matter of fact, tomorrow they're playing Canada. I believe that game is in Boston, if I'm not mistaken. It's tomorrow at 8:10 p.m. It's minus 110
Oh,
both
am
ways.
I getting into this?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, maybe I'm going to get into this.
USA. We're all hockeyed up. All right, we're coming down the home stretch. We're closing things up over here for us here on The Gambler. We appreciate you guys letting us hang with you, us gas bagging over here. My name is Sean
Your two
Bracey.
favorite gas bags.
John Jansen. We're on The Gambler, 3 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, iHeartRadio. Give us a follow once again at Fox PHL The Gambler. A couple people to thank. Thank you very much to PJ's rolling out the red carpet. Mike Powers and company with Ty. Thank
Mike
you very
Powers.
much. The best.
Shout out Mike Powers.
Frankie Darcell from WDAS and iHeartRadio hanging with us all day today. And yeah, man, it's been a great ride. And unfortunately, it does come to an end because of no more games. And I know that they were saying that at the parade. They're like, the only thing that stinks is the season's over. That's it.
Yeah, because time's a royal pain in the ass and things have to end. But this is a great season. Like, amazing season start to finish.
Season could not have been better.
Yeah, honestly,
lost 2 games.
after the bye week, it was about as smooth of a ride as you can get.
The only game they lost, Jalen Hurts got hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, I put my money where my mouth is. I bet the Eagles a lot during the playoffs. It just felt automatic, and I've never felt that way about a team here in Philly before. And it just felt that way, that they were never going to lose a game, that they were much better than all these teams in football. And the only one that maybe could have competed with them had no chance with the Lions because of all the injuries. The Eagles were clearly by far the best team in the league.
Once again, Eagles currently up 40-6 in Super Bowl 59.
And that's the final score. The final score is 40-6.
PJ's one more time. EAGLES. There we go.
You know what?
Take care of your
I'll give
bartenders,
these
wait
people credit.
staff.
It's been a long day, Brace.
Happy
That was a
Friday.
healthy chant. Let's
Go Birds.